This is one of the most fascinating things about the brain. The brain is awesome in taking our life experiences and then placing them into categories to help us navigate life. And what you'll find is that it's the brain's capacity to take what you experience on a regular basis and to put it into little boxes that it allows you to make your decisions quickly and to go through life, so that you can achieve your goals, or just, have the kind of life that you're looking for. This is useful in efficiency. The problem is that what this activity does, as long as we allow it to continue, it's ingrained, it's inborn, it's just a natural part of being a human. What it does, however, is that it takes away from the basic tenets of humanity. So those different characteristics that we have, such as mercy, kindness, forgiveness, understanding, all get lost. I'll give you an example. Maybe you've been driving or walking along the roads, and you come up against a whole bunch of trees. What your brain does is it takes all the different colors and it really just groups everything and tells you those are trees, they're green. Or if you're in different weather, depending on, in Canada we have the 4 different seasons, so maybe the message would be, those are trees in the fall or those are trees in winter. Now, it's only if you take a pause that you may be able to actually see each individual tree and recognize each type of tree, or just how different it is, or how different the green is. This only happens when you take a pause, when you interrupt the flow of your brain's mechanism. What does this have to do with humanity and our lives, and especially what has recently happened? Well, I'd like to take you about 7 years back. I was invited to a really prestigious part of downtown Toronto, and I was invited by a friend who lived in one of those penthouses, and she wanted a bunch of her friends to come over for tea. Now, I had just come from doing errands, and I had also gone to the gym. And what this means is that I was in my comfy clothes, and my comfy clothes happened to be track pants, gym clothes, athleisure wear. Thank you for the name. And so that's what I was dressed in. I was going to see my friend. Now, I knew that where she lived, there was valet parking for the visitors. And I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. Now, as I was driving there, I was thinking to myself, maybe I should have gone home and changed. And then immediately a thought came up. Would you have changed had you been visiting a friend in a different type of neighborhood? And the answer was no. And I said, well, I am who I am. I'm going over to this space. And so I head over there, and I wasn't sure how the valet parked. This was my very first experience with this. And so I left my car in the parking lot, and I headed over to speak with the concierge with my keys. And immediately the man at the desk said, "You're late." And I'm like, okay, I know the tea started at this time and I'm within a 30-minute. Okay, I didn't know it was that serious. Last I checked, my friend was just inviting us for tea. And I'm trying to give him my keys. And so I ask him, where do I park my car? And he's like, leave your keys here. And then he hands me this bag. It's like a gift bag. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, lifestyles of the rich. I really had no idea what I was walking into, but already I was like so flattered. And he says, let's go, you're late. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, excuse us. But I wanted to make sure that my car was registered and that he knew he had the right person. And so I give him my name. I tell him the unit that I'm going to, the name of the person hosting, and he wasn't listening. He kept saying, let's go, you're late. And so this man takes me and he lets me into an elevator. And a part of me is thinking, that's strange. This looks like a service elevator, but that's okay. Hands over so he didn't actually go in with me. What he did is he used his card to let me go through to the floor that I was supposed to go to. Another part of me thought, that floor looks wrong, but what do I know? Maybe I was caught up in myself and I didn't really take note of all the details. And so the doors close and I'm holding this bag and I'm trying to process everything that's happening, and the doors open up for the elevator, and I find myself in this huge, huge, huge apartment, and there's no one there, and I don't recognize anything in it. And then I think to myself, Julia, look in the bag. And so I open this gift bag that has the embossment of the residence that I have stepped into. And in there are cleaning supplies. And at that moment, I realized, oh, he supposed I was the help. I was coming to clean a unit, and that's why he was pushing me forward. He thought that I was late. I said, okay. So I go back in the elevator, and it allows me to go to the ground floor. And I'm trying to figure out what to say to this man on the front desk. And as I'm approaching him, I see that my friend is asking him questions like, where is she? The reason being that as soon as I showed up, I said, just parking. I'm here, just parking, trying to figure out your valet, laugh out loud. And she's there questioning him. And he turns over and he looks at me. I look at him. My friend is looking at us and she's like, oh, there you are. Where did you go? And I look over at this gentleman. The employee is shaking in his shoes and he is visibly sweating and he has no words. His mouth is open and he's staring at me and then staring at my friend who happened to live on the penthouse of this gorgeous, extravagant place. And she wants to know what happened. I take a deep breath. I look at him and I say, there's a misunderstanding. I believe this is for you. And I said, there is a misunderstanding, correct? You were just about to take my keys to park my car in the valet parking, correct? The man looks at me. My keys, apparently, he had left them discarded on the front desk. A part of me was grieved because part of the instructions was leave your car unlocked. Yeah, really, that's what grieved me. And he takes the keys and he nods. He's still shaking. He's still giving me this side eye. And then he looks at the owner of the unit and he says, and sorry about that. There was a misunderstanding. I will park her car and escort you ladies to your unit. See, this is the thing. I just understood that this man had had experiences that had led him to generalize a group of people. What that experience told me was that Black girls in track pants with that look that they'd been around doing their thing with cars that were perhaps not, the greatest. It was unfathomable perhaps for him that I could have been anything but a maid, that I should have been that person, and I wasn't. The other thing I understood at that moment was that his mistake could have cost him his job. For me, I was not wounded or grieved because I know who I am. And I know that we all come with prejudices. And I know that we all tend to lump people into categories because that's how we navigate life. Now, it's not an excuse. However, what I have come to learn is that there is no mercy in generalizations, that when we actually stop to look at each tree, we get to see the reason why each tree is the way it is. There's this really famous quote that I obviously have no remembrance of. But one of the beautiful things that it reminds me is that sometimes you're going to see a tree that's slightly bent or that's really reaching up to the sky, or one that was not able to grow beyond a certain length. And we tend to just generalize about how nature looks and how nature works. And we do the same for humanity without realizing that really it's not efficiency that is the purpose of why we're here. And the only way to share in humanity is to go through our experiences and experience the pause, to treat each case individual and to see if we can communicate a language, if we can communicate a tool other than war, if we can perhaps give an offering of peace, even when we have been wronged, in the hopes that the person will learn and excel from it. Now, could I have gotten this young man fired? Absolutely, very easily. I simply just needed to say what happened. My friend was the type of person who would not have let that go. Did I have a chance to show mercy where it was warranted? Absolutely. Did it take away from me? Not at all. I hope, in the grand scheme of things, that it made sense.